Hello, anybody who's watching this. Welcome to my reaction to Hermit's Crab. So awkward. What? Such an awkward start. I'm keeping it in. Hermit Crab's okay by Tirzu. I haven't done a Tirzu video in over 7 months. I specifically checked, but that video did alright. So why not do another one? And this is the most recent one. If you want me to do something else, leave it in the comments. And I'll do it in 7 months. The only thing I know about hermit crabs, though, is that they find something that would work as a shell for them, and then they abandon it when they grow bigger, and then they'll need to find something bigger. Not necessarily use a shell, it could be something else, as far as I know. Just something resembling a shell. Probably could be like a can. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, if you want to help out the channel, there's the link in the description below. If you want to get videos early, there's a Patreon page. And if you don't want to do any of that, subscribe, like, comment, whatever you want. Why am I stuck every time on that moment? Anyway. That's where the life bar. There are health bars, and it's a Pokemon. Used what? Belt. That, I'm sorry, is because of the font. Baleful bunker. Baleful? Alright, I know what that means. Swallow hole, uh-oh. Wow. So it couldn't be swallowed.
At first glance, beaches may seem like one of the most relaxed, casual biomes in
Not for the
entirety
animals.
of the game. But upon further analysis, it becomes clear that beaches are just as intense a battleground as every other biome.
Went for the eye.
The fight for survival never stops, and so, of course, there have been a wide variety of strategies and builds that players have come up with to give themselves the best odds.
I forgot how deep it goes, like in the gaming terminology. I forgot that what Tirza was about for a second. It was like players built. Oh yeah, oh. I loved it.
The beach's lack of plant cover makes stealth strategies less effective, which in turn creates an essential need for other ways of avoiding attacks from predators, especially aerial predators. Crustaceans in particular are at a pretty big disadvantage, as they don't have the best terrestrial movement speed and don't fare very well in single combat against birds. However, there is one build that has developed a unique strategy to give itself better survival odds: the hermit crab.
Okay.
So, crabs as a whole aren't all that powerful. In fact, because of their extremely low skill floor, they're a bit of a noob trap, which is why you see so many cases of players speccing their characters into the exact same set of abilities, without ever actually becoming a dominant meta threat. Still, crab-like builds do tend to have decent base.
Isn't there a theory that everything evolves into crabs? Is that what that's referring to? Okay.
Particularly in the realm of defense and power. So with that in mind, you might be surprised to learn that hermit crabs are well below the norm in both of these areas. Compared to similarly sized crustaceans, their crushing vice grip attack is nothing special, a little on the weak side in fact. And while most crustaceans have a tough, calcified exoskeleton that functions as sturdy armor against a variety of attacks, hermit crabs are one of the few crustacean builds with a very obvious, unarmored weak point that can be attacked for massive damage.
But they can use armor.
As you might have guessed, simply looking at the hermit crab's base stats is a bit misleading. The hermit crab's signature ability, Armor Scavenge, more than makes up for this weakness, as it allows the hermit crab to significantly boost its stats to levels that would be otherwise unattainable. The stat this ability's effects are most concentrated in is defense. While
stealth would work
defense
too.
stat is one of the lowest in the game when unequipped, as long as they've managed to secure a nice shell, their defense jumps to one of the highest in the game, essentially matching the stats of the shell's original owner. The most desirable shells are those of snails, though clam and scallop shells can also do the job. As long as the hermit crab has found a shell to equip, it can block most attacks with ease. Normally, defense stats this high would require extreme investment of evolution points, and would necessitate some serious min-maxing in order to be viable. However, the hermit crab is able to maintain pretty well-rounded stats through the use of this ability. It's not just defense that can be buffed via the armor scavenge ability, though.
Oh?
The wide selection of patterns and coloration available among different shells means that a hermit crab can pick and choose what sorts of environments they would like to receive a stealth bonus in.
Yeah.
Smooth, lightly colored shells will offer bonus camouflage on the beach, while the darker, more jagged shells will offer better camo in reefs. Swapping between shells isn't the only way hermit crabs can augment their stats to fit their playstyle, though. The shells themselves can be augmented to boost certain stats even further. One particularly advanced technique is equipping sea anemones to the surface of the shell, allowing the hermit crab to deal venom damage on contact.
Oh.
This is important because the hermit crab's basic attacks tend to be pretty mediocre on their own. This isn't universally true, as the coconut crab, a variation of the hermit crab build, packs one of the strongest crushing grips in the entire game. Strong enough, in fact, that coconut crabs actually drop the armor scavenge ability once they reach a size big enough to rely solely on their claws for defense. However, this is an exception, and also something coconut crabs only unlock at high levels. Before that, their game plan is identical to regular hermit crabs, meaning these absolute powerhouses still rely on the armor scavenge ability in order to maintain meta relevancy. Upgrading the hermit crab stats with good shells and add-ons can make or break the viability of the hermit crab build. Unfortunately, securing a proper shell is becoming more and more difficult in the current meta. In part, this is due to the acidification of the ocean, which is a huge nerf to the viability of snails because it causes their shells to partially dissolve. And with less players spawning in as snails, this in turn means more competition for the shell drops. But on top of this, choosing a good shell is getting harder due to an influx of plastic garbage polluting all of the best looting areas. Now, while hermit crabs are adaptable, and in some cases can even turn this into a win, plastic shells simply are inferior to the calcium shells dropped by defeated gastropods. But when the resource pool is constantly diluted with these low-quality drops, it's hard for builds with low intelligence.
Look how smaller he is, though. Like, there are masks that you normally wear that are like this big. About this big. And he's just a little tiny guy.
Like the hermit crab, to consistently separate shell from trash. Ultimately, this is not a problem the hermit crab mains should be subjected to. And to be honest, compared to other beach-dwelling builds, hermit crabs have it pretty good. The abundance of garbage on beaches can be hugely damaging to less adaptable builds, and something needs to be done. This is why I joined Team Seas, an initiative started by some of the best creators.
That's why
it
was like
Our goal is to remove
fundraiser.
30 million pounds of trash from the ocean, and to do that, we need your help. It's quite simple, really. Each dollar donated equates to 1 pound of trash deleted from these biomes, which is quite a lot of trash when you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like 50 water bottles. There's a link in the description of this video that you can click
to be
on
honest, any amount of trash you delete,
about the plan specifics. But you can also just tap this.
It's not gonna make a difference
if you're trying to speed run your conservation
necessarily,
efforts.
but it is
Tier Zoo will
useful.
also be donating to the cause.
Just clean after yourselves. That's like the easiest thing to do. Fucking disgusting humans.
So I hope you'll join me in giving hermit crab.
Human mains are fucking disgusting. Like they're just ruining gameplay for everybody else. What is this? Looks like a channel trailer. Yeah. Alright. This was a super cool video. I forgot, I haven't seen Tier Zoo in, as I said, over 7 months. My video came out on 3rd of April by reaction to it. And that was the only one I've seen about cheetahs. So this is very interesting. I love this, I love the way he's talking about it. It's a very interesting choice how to do this kind of content. Because if you went like this and Casual Geographic, right? Like the two kind of similar channels, they're talking about like the animal kingdom, but Casual Geographic chose to my table's weirdly vibrating. My PC okay. Anyway, fucking hell, it's cold. Casual Geographic chose to go with just facts and saying like weird or some kind of unusual facts about animals, and he chose to choose like one topic, like for example in this case it's hermit crab. It could be like There are different videos like tier for birds and for snakes. Like choosing one kind of topic that, depending on the topic, could be a 6-minute video or a 20-minute video, and then making it like in a game, using game terminology to describe it. It's very entertaining while being very educational. It's like a perfect mix of both. And I feel like if you're into games and like you need to study for biology, you could use this to kind of educate yourself before like an exam or something like that. I feel like that could work, especially if you find something specific, like if you studied birds for this semester or whatever amount of time before the exam happens, so you can watch like a birds tier list video, and that would be helpful for you. And because the terms that are being used are like kind of generic gaming terms, you can like try to remember, oh, that, yes, it talks about that, so that, and it could bring more fun into your study life. But I've talked enough, so thank you, anybody who watched this. I appreciate it a lot, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye. Have a great life, because one of us has to.